All right, so today we are going to be talking about a career path that is anything but ordinary, becoming a rolling stock engine inspector.
Okay.
We're talking the masterminds who keep those massive locomotives running smoothly and safely.
Right.
Forget those dusty career pamphlets.
Yeah.
We're getting elbow deep in diesel and maybe a little grease today.
And hopefully not too much grease.
Hopefully not too much grease.
It's a job that's way more dynamic than most people realize.
Yeah, so we've got a stack of research here from RoleCatcher.
Okay.
But let's cut to the chase. What does a rolling stock engine inspector actually do all day?
Okay.
It can't be just kicking the tires, right?
You're definitely kicking more than tires, that's for sure.
More than tires.
Think of it this way. You're responsible for the beating heart of the locomotive,
Okay.
making sure those engines, whether diesel or electric, are in tip-top shape and meeting some seriously strict safety regulations.
Wow.
It's a fascinating blend of detective work, mechanical expertise, and, yes, a bit of paperwork to keep everything documented.
A detective with a wrench.
That's right.
Now, that's an image I'm seeing here, that inspections can be all over the map, from routine checks to post-repair evaluations and even wait post-accident investigations.
That's intense.
Yeah, it definitely keeps you on your toes. You're searching for those tiny details that could spell disaster down the line. Sometimes that means analyzing an engine's performance after a major incident to make absolutely sure it's safe to be back on the rails.
So you're telling me this one tiny component can cause a major malfunction?
Absolutely.
Wow, talk about pressure.
Oh yeah, big time.
No 2 days are the same, are they?
You got it. Each day brings new challenges, and the work is incredibly hands-on. You're constantly collaborating with locomotive engineers, repair crews, even folks in administration, and those sticklers at the Federal Railroad Administration, they're the ones setting all the safety standards.
Right.
It's a team effort to keep those locomotives chugging along safely.
Okay, so not just a gearhead then, but a bit of a people person too.
You got it. That's good to know. Now, our sources paint a pretty optimistic picture when it comes to career outlook. Good job security, decent salary, and opportunities for growth. That's music to any job seeker's ears, am I right?
You're right on track there.
Yeah.
The transportation sector, especially the rail industry, relies heavily on skilled professionals like rolling stock engine inspectors.
Okay.
As long as we need to move goods and people by train, these jobs are in demand.
Right.
Plus, as you gain experience, you open doors to supervisory roles, management positions, or even dive into specialized areas like, say, becoming the electric engine guru.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah,
But let's be real for a second. There have to be some downsides, right?
sure.
It can't all be smooth tracks and perfectly timed schedules.
Right.
Our research mentions physical demands, potentially hazardous materials. What should someone be prepared for on a less glamorous day on the job?
Yeah, you're not wrong. This isn't exactly a desk job. Be ready to get your hands dirty, literally. You'll be working outdoors in all kinds of weather, dealing with heavy machinery, and sometimes those work hours can get a little unpredictable. Yeah.
If there's an urgent issue, you might be called in on a weekend or even a holiday. Flexibility is key.
Okay, so a strong back, a flexible schedule,
Yeah.
and probably a good pair of coveralls are non-negotiable.
Pretty much.
What about personality-wise? What kind of person thrives in this environment? Is it
Again,
all about being mechanically inclined?
You definitely need a good head for mechanics, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's more than just being handy with a wrench.
Okay.
You need a meticulous eye for detail, a real methodical approach to your work. Remember those tiny cracks I mentioned?
Right.
Missing one could be a costly mistake.
You've got me picturing myself with a magnifying glass now.
Right.
Talk about attention to detail. So it's problem solving on a massive scale.
It is.
Now, you might be thinking you need a degree in mechanical engineering to even apply for a job like this.
Yeah.
But our sources suggest that's not always the case, right?
That's right. While an engineering background is definitely a plus, it's not the only way in.
Many rolling stock engine inspectors start with apprenticeships, get certified through vocational training programs, or even dive deep into self-study. Experience is gold in this field.
So you're saying I can trade in my textbooks for some hands-on learning. That's refreshing.
Sometimes.
What would you say are the absolute must-have skills someone should focus on mastering? Asking for a friend, of course.
Of course. Well, we've already touched on attention to detail, and let me tell you, that can't be overstated. You're looking for those almost invisible cracks, leaks, or wear and tear that most people wouldn't even notice.
Right.
A strong grasp of mechanical and electrical systems is a given. But don't underestimate good communication skills. You'll be explaining complex technical jargon to engineers, repair crews, and maybe even the occasional bewildered office worker.
You need to be able to speak engine, but also translate it for us regular folks.
That's right.
Now, what about someone with experience in related fields, like an automotive mechanic, for example? Could those skills transfer over to working on locomotive engines?
Absolutely. Yeah. That hands-on experience with engines, diagnostics, and troubleshooting is incredibly valuable. The scale might be different, but the principles are often the same. I always recommend highlighting those transferable skills on your application. Show those potential employers you understand the mechanics, even if it's a different type of engine.
It's all about showcasing that mechanical prowess.
Exactly.
Now, here's a curveball I found in our research. It mentioned building a portfolio, and not the kind artists use.
Right.
What on earth would a rolling stock engine inspector put in a portfolio to impress potential employers?
It's a great question, and it speaks to that blend of technical skills and documentation we talked about earlier. Think of it as a way to showcase your expertise beyond just a list of jobs on a resume. Did you conduct a particularly complex inspection? Document it.
Okay.
Did you troubleshoot a tricky mechanical issue? Write up a case study? It's all about highlighting those aha moments that demonstrate your in-depth knowledge.
Like a highlight reel of your engine whispering skills.
Exactly.
That's where meticulous record keeping really pays off.
Yes.
Speaking of putting yourself out there, networking seems to be a recurring theme in our research. What are the best ways to connect with the right people in this industry?
Professional associations are pure gold groups, like the International Transport Workers Federation or even National Railway Worker Unions are fantastic places to connect with experienced professionals.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of online platforms like LinkedIn. Connect with people in the field, join relevant groups, and don't be afraid to participate in discussions. It's all about building relationships and tapping into that network of shared knowledge.
Networking, it's not just for salespeople anymore.
It's for everybody.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about career trajectory.
Yeah.
We touched on moving up the ladder within an organization, but what else is out there for a seasoned rolling stock engine inspector? What other paths could they explore?
Specialization is a fantastic option.
Yeah.
You could become the go-to expert on a very specific type of locomotive engine or delve into a particular technology you find fascinating, like those ultrasonic thickness gauges we talked about. Some inspectors leverage their expertise to transition into related fields, like consulting on railway projects, becoming technical writers for industry publications, or even taking on roles in regulatory bodies like the FRA.
Wow, those are some seriously cool options. It's not just about fixing engines, it's about understanding the entire ecosystem. So for those who love continuous learning and expanding their skill set, this career path has a lot to offer.
Absolutely. And that brings us to a critical point, the future of the field.
Okay.
With all the advancements in technology like automation and alternative fuels, how do you see the role of a rolling stock engine inspector evolving?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's like we're standing on the edge of a technological revolution, especially in the transportation industry. What does this mean for someone considering a career as a rolling stock engine inspector?
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be in the field, that's for sure. You're right, automation is already changing the game. We're seeing more sophisticated sensors, diagnostic systems that can predict potential issues before they even happen. It's pretty remarkable.
Okay, so more robots, less human elbow grease. Does it mean the days of the hands-on inspector are numbered?
Not so fast. While these advancements will definitely change how inspections are done, human expertise is more important than ever. Think about it. Someone needs to be able to interpret the data from those fancy sensors to understand what those diagnostic systems are really telling us. That requires a deep understanding of the mechanics, the ability to connect the dots and make critical decisions.
So it's more of a partnership between human and machine, each playing to their strengths.
Exactly. It's about upskilling, not becoming obsolete. And it's not just automation we're talking about. The shift towards alternative fuels, things like hydrogen-powered trains and battery electric locomotives, that's going to require a whole new set of skills for inspectors.
Hold on, let me wrap my head around that. So you're saying that even though the principles of mechanics stay the same, the technology powering those engines is a whole different ballgame.
You got it. Imagine troubleshooting a fuel cell instead of a diesel engine. It's a whole new world of knowledge. Inspectors of the future will need to be adaptable, quick learners, and always up for a challenge.
It sounds like the future of locomotive engine inspection is anything but boring. This isn't your grandpa's train set anymore.
And that's what makes it so exciting. There's so much room for innovation, for pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Well, there you have it, folks. a deep dive into the world of a rolling stock engine inspector. It's a career path that keeps those locomotives chugging along, ensuring safe and efficient transportation for all of us. And if this deep dive has taught us anything, it's that this field is anything but stuck in the past.
If you're someone who loves to get their hands dirty, who thrives on problem solving, and who's excited by the challenge of mastering cutting-edge technology, then this might just be the career path for you.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one inspecting those futuristic hydrogen-powered engines down the line. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.